It's time to take a look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers. Joining me via Skype from Ogun State is journalist and media consultant Ifekayode Akimbodi. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning, Veronica. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Let's quickly take a look at what the papers are saying, first of all, before we get back to you now. And we begin from the blueprint. APC crisis deepens. Only NEC, not Buhari, can resolve face-off. Gadum. And then to the news direct now. APC crisis. Buhari reassures governors as Ize-Iyamu wins Edo primary election. And to the front page of the Daily Times, lopsided appointments. Southern leaders slam a 50 billion naira suit against Buhari. To the front page of the national economy, economic experts back Osinbajo on cutting cost of governance. On the front page of the Daily Trust now, rescue APC, governors beg Buhari. Why president remains neutral. Protesters want National Working Committee members sacked. Ize-Iyamu emerges Edo governorship candidate. Bombs replaces Gadum. And finally, on the front page of the leadership newspaper, governors meet President Muhammadu Buhari as the APC crisis spreads to states. Protests rock party's national secretariat. Gadum writes INEC as Ize-Iyamu emerges APC governorship candidate. National Working Committee swears in bombs as Gadum's replacement. Rivers APC suspends Aguma, appoints new caretaker committee chair. And we'll be looking at the front page of the Daily Trust now, Ifekayode. The reaction, there's so much going on right now. The crisis, according to the dailies this morning, in the party, that's the APC, seems to be deepening. I wonder what you make of the back and forth that has been going on in the past few days.
Well, thank you. First and foremost, it's really becomingly embarrassing that a national party, the ruling party like APC, will not be able to sort the internal crisis based on the prevailing challenges in Nigeria today. The world over is battling with the COVID-19 pandemic, and the least of anybody's problem is internal crisis of any major political party. There are a lot of economic downturn, there are a lot of job losses, things are not really working well. And a ruling party, for that matter, should have done something meaningful in ensuring that what should be our focus now is how we are going to survive as a nation. How we are going to ensure that the economic challenges that we have is solved, and then how we are going to tackle the virus, killing people.
When you say the party should have done something meaningful, are you saying that perhaps either the National Working Committee or the president should have stepped way into the matter and resolved this crisis a long time before now?
I would have expected the President Muhammadu Buhari, as the leader of the nation and as a member of the party, who is incidentally is the leader of the party, to have been able to, before now, call the warring factions together and step in as the father of the nation. I would have expected that President Muhammadu Buhari would have done something meaningful before now. I mean, you imagine that as today, we can't be sure who is the national chairman of the party today. We have court judgment here and there flying up and down. I'm even sure that INEC is confused. So which court judgment they should obey. So if President Muhammadu Buhari has done the needful before now, I'm sure that it wouldn't have gone this bad.
But some are already calling for the National Working Committee members to be sacked. That as it stands, they have lost about 7 governors because of the way they have been handling situation. Is that the way to go?
Well, party politics is different from the way people see it. There are laid out rules and regulations. There are party constitution and the steps to take. I should think that the governors of the party and the elder statesmen, the leaders of the party, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and other critical stakeholders should rise up quickly and do the needful. If there's a need for them to call for a review, and they should do it. If there's a need for them to disband the NWC, they should do it. What's important is that peace should reign in APC and in Nigeria as a whole, because they are the ruling party at the moment.
And let's also look at what the statement the embattled chairman Gyadum is also saying. He's saying that only the National Executive Council can resolve this issue and not the president.
Yes, to a reasonable extent, Gyadum is correct because the president is elected to superintend the affairs of the nation, and where the party executives are meant, to superintend the affairs of the party is a bit distinct. But then, technically speaking, Gyadum is correct. But President Buhari, as the leader of the party by the constitution, is also, should do something meaningful. Gyadum is correct. President Muhammadu Buhari should also do the needful. It's a two-way thing because don't forget that the president is elected under the party, that is the APC, and then whatever happens to the party would have a way to affect the president too. So it's technically speaking, Gyadum is correct, but I also think that the president should also do what is actually meaningful as of today.
What would be meaningful in your point of view to, resolving this crisis?
Well, the president knows that no meaningful development can take place in an atmosphere of rancor, disunity, and acrimony, and that those governors elected under the platform of the APC have responsibility to the people to give governance, to give justice, to give welfare, to give meaningful governance to the people. But there is crisis everywhere. Development will be slowed down. Even at the national level, development will be slowed down. So if the president would, intervene and call these people together and talk, there is nothing so difficult about this thing. And I think it's about 2023 that is playing out. People are strategically positioning themselves to take over the affairs of the party so that they can be in control of the party towards 2023, and whoever would emerge will be in control of the party structure. But I think to me that is quite too early. Only God gives power to people when he so desires.
And what picture do you see playing out if nothing is done to nip this crisis in the bud as soon as possible?
Well, we've said it before. It happens to PDP. I think there's a peculiar problem with party in power. When people are in power, you don't forget that it happened when 5 governors of PDP also, they broke away and then they joined the APC to ensure that President Muhammadu Buhari emerged as the president in 2015. So there might be likely be an implosion in APC if nothing is urgently done. And if that happens, you and I will know the result ultimately.
But with the way things are going, do you think that the parties involved in the crisis going on will want to yield grounds and come together to forge ahead, perhaps make the party stronger towards whatever goal it is trying to achieve, whether it be towards 2023 or not?
Well, there is nothing impossible if people will be very politically matured enough to understand that only God gives power. We should consider the people first. First and foremost, they are elected to serve the people. And the platform which they are jostling to have control over now was used by the same people to get to power. They should just allow reasoning to prevail and allow, political maturity to also prevail. There is nothing too difficult if political maturity is allowed, in all of these things that we're talking about.
All right. Political maturity, indeed. Thank you so much. Right, let's head straight to the papers now, and I begin with the blueprint. APC crisis deepens. Only NEC, not Buhari, can resolve face-off. Gyadum protesters demand sack of the National Working Committee. Yamu emerges Edo flag bearer Etiswezin bomb as Gyadum's replacement. And then we'll move to the front page of the News Direct. APC crisis, Buhari reassures governors as Yamu wins Edo primary election. Protesters storm APC secretariat. APC will foil all polls. Shuaibu. Move on now to the front page of the Daily Times. Lopsided appointments. Southern leaders slam 50 billion naira suit against Buhari, say president's appointment since 2015 in breach of 1999 Constitution, federal character principle. All right, let's quickly move now to the front page of the national economy. Economic experts back Osinbajo on cutting costs of governance. Enter the front page of the Daily Trust now. Rescue APC, governors beg Buhari, why president remains neutral. Protesters want National Working Committee members sacked. Izeyamo emerges Edo governorship candidate. Bombs replaces Gadum. And finally, on the front page of the leadership newspaper, governors meet PMB as APC crisis spreads to states. Protests rock party's national secretariat. Gadum writes INEC as Izeyamo emerges APC governorship candidate. National Working Committee swears in bombs as Gadum's replacement. Rivers APC suspends Aguma, appoints new caretaker committee chair. We'll be looking at the story on the front page of the News Direct this morning, talking about the APC crisis. President Buhari reassuring governors as Izeyamo wins Edo primary election. Well, from what the papers are saying this morning, I'd like for us to focus on Izeyamu's emergence as the APC candidate from the primaries that took place yesterday. I'm certain you monitored the primaries, and at this time around, it was a direct primary mode. Talk to us your reaction to how the primaries went down yesterday.
Well, I think it's another. If I should congratulate Pastor Zage Izeyamo, and this is the second attempt, and I think that in strict compliance to the directive of the Edo State government, social distancing was observed, and I'm sure that each of the polling units at the ward level, there were no more than 20, and then the chairman of the Electoral Committee, Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, actually announced that. Pastor Izeyamo scored 27,833 to become the flag bearer. But my major fear is that we might end up like some of our colleagues in the media will say, judicialization of the electoral process. A lot of litigations are on because don't forget that the suspended National Democratic Party, that is talking about Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, inaugurated the Electoral Committee, and that Chief Gadum also gone to court to say that he's the acting chairman and he also has a court judgment in his favor. Now, the problem that we have is that after the election, we might end up heading back to court to determine who actually should be the authentic candidate of APC. And that might, of course, open another set of problems for the party.
You would recall as well that Gadum has said that this primary is actually illegal, so to speak.
He said so. He said he was not informed, and he wrote officially to INEC, and I think INEC acknowledged the letter. But yesterday, my monitor on a sister TV station, Pastor Izeyamo said that INEC was represented and that the REC of Edo State was present at this declaration. So let's wait what will pan out as we go forward. But I'm afraid that they might hand it back to the court, and the court might ultimately make a pronouncement at the end of the day.
Okay, now let's focus on the statement made by Izeyamo. He is asking the governor, Godwin Obaseki, to return to the party at this point. And he's also looking at unifying the party, looking at the crisis that is rocking the party. I wonder how that will pan out.
Well, expectedly, you wouldn't expect him to go confrontational. He actually said that Governor Obaseki should learn from his own experience that he was in PDP in the previous election and he lost. But I know that at the end of the day, the ultimate power resides in the electorates of Edo State. The common man would determine who becomes their governor. What should be the focus of everybody is how to provide good governance to the people of Edo State. Power resides in God, and as you say, whether it is Obaseki, whether it is Izeyamo, Edo State people will decide ultimately at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And my colleague spoke with a member of the House of Representatives, and he said that the politics in Edo State have moved from party politics to now focusing on the person. From what you have seen, is that what it is?
Are you talking about Honorable Kenneth Masuagbo, right?
Yes.
Yes. Well, that's his opinion. A lot of factors will determine who becomes governor. You know, we have always seen in the past the emergence of Godwin Obaseki, who was completely not political. You saw the effort of former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole. All he has to fight and do all these things to get him elected. A lot of factors will also come to play. Don't forget Obaseki is a sitting governor. He has decamped with his deputy governor. He has decamped with virtually all his appointees. And I'm also heard that he has decamped with substantial number of the House of Assembly members. And so, beyond your personality, the structure must be there. Don't forget there's also a PDP who have their own challenges as well. So it is too difficult to determine who becomes the governor. Yes, your personality will come to play, but ultimately the structure, the financial war chest, what you have done, and the pedigree in the political, and the structure behind you, what ultimately determines who becomes the governor.
So come September, let's say we are trying to pick the picture of what you see, what you think will happen. Although we know that come Thursday, the PDP will be having their primaries as well. Although there is also a court restraint on the governor from taking part in the primaries. What do you see playing out at the end of the day?
Well, I know that tomorrow, which is 25th, I think, Governor Obaseki might likely emerge as a candidate of the party. Don't forget that there are underlying agreements that you and I are not privy to. Before a sitting governor will openly declare for a political party with his deputy governor, with the entire structure, there have been unwritten agreement that we are not privy to. So beyond what Kenneth is saying, I know that when the PDP holds their primary, I am optimistic that Godwin Nosahari Obaseki will emerge the candidate of the PDP. And then it's going to be a very tough election. It's going to be a very tough election. I just pray that the gladiators will shun violence and allow Edo people to decide. September is here, and they will know who becomes the governor of Edo State.
All right. Thank you so much, Ifekayode, for speaking with us.